It's simple, really. Poaching, illegal wildlife trade, it's run by organized criminal networks. It's the same groups running drugs, trafficking in weapons, in humans, in conflict minerals. I supported counter-terror operations for the last 15 years. Getting inside these people's heads to understand really how they think, that's how you get ahead of it. If there's one thing that I can tell you about poachers, wildlife dealers, it's that they're criminals and they can be stopped.
Poaching is an epidemic. An elephant is killed for its ivory every 15 minutes.
The people who come into parks to poach are not coming with bows and arrows or spears. They come with automatic weapons and they are ready to kill.
Kenya Wildlife Service is the country's elite animal protection unit.
They face the risk of death every day on the job.
These rangers risk their lives to protect elephants. They are often outgunned and outmanned. But they do have an untapped weapon that could help turn the tide.
KWS had been very diligent in its collection of data. There was lots of data.
They're sitting on a mountain of valuable information.
We collect a lot of information, we collect a lot of intelligence, but it has been difficult to store this information.
Much of it is recorded on paper and is slow to get to analysts.
We have a lot of intelligence that is not analyzed.
The concept of tenBoma is a wildlife and community security project.
Operation tenBoma is an anti-poaching intelligence system spearheaded by the International Fund for Animal Welfare and Kenya Wildlife Service.
When the issue of poaching was explained to me, it sounded very similar to how terror networks and insurgent networks operate.
This radical new approach brings battle-tested military tactics into the fight to save wildlife.
Providing something that looks very familiar to a defense excess official.
In 2008, I spent a year in Baghdad embedded with the Iraqi Special Operations Forces as a U.S. advisor.
Our lives and our energies have been focused heavily on counterterrorism and security type operations.
We want to be able to develop an information picture earlier in the conflict spectrum before the physical attack, that being the boom. Over several years of prosecuting a global war on terror, if the focus was left of boom, could we get left of kill in the counter-poaching context?
We are committed to taking what has worked and transitioning that to a new space.
The same methods used to destroy terror networks are now being used to connect all the dots of information, giving authorities an enhanced picture of poaching activities.
The war on poaching and the ivory war were described using terms of war, but nobody was leveraging principles of war and building strategies to counter poaching. And so that really became the genesis of tenBoma.
Without the goodwill of the community, we cannot succeed.
Key to our strategy is forming strong ties within the local communities.
There will actually be an extra pair of eyes and ears so that they can provide security for wildlife.
Because tips from locals can warn us when criminals enter the area. This grassroots intelligence is our strongest weapon. But the idea is to combine this with much bigger data. Software and hardware developed for elite military units organizes information from communities, rangers, police, Interpol, other NGOs, satellite data, and many other sources.
We bring one highly trained and experienced analyst to come in and try to make sense of that.
The suspects have left FAYE and headed south. So our estimation is that they're going to be moving south along the Mombasa Highway.
Ex-Special Operations Intelligence officers study the data and teach rangers how to identify patterns, like robberies of camp supplies, which spike before poaching gangs head out into the field.
There are sources of information from every different angle imaginable.
Can we tell about how fast they're moving?
They moved into the area in the last 24 hours.
Okay. In 2016, data and information are the new ammunition.
We've built a field intelligence fusion center in FAYE, the biggest hotspot of poaching activity in Kenya, and have set up a central intelligence nerve center in Nairobi.
The elephants are located and the teams are deployed to ensure that they stay closer to the elephants. Make sure that the area is secure.
Analysts deliver reports right into the hands of field officers, who can stay one step ahead of poaching networks.
With the tenBoma, then I tell you, no individual, no suspect will get his way free. And his days will be numbered.
Kenya is a country that has consistently demonstrated its commitment to protecting elephants and other wildlife. With a strategic influx of funding, we can revolutionize KWS enforcement technology and procedures, saving elephants and stopping the poachers before they kill.
It is a heritage for the world. It's not only for Kenya. We conserve for the people of the world.